Good morning, guys. Once again, I'm having OBS problems. What else is new? I need to see if there's a new version available for what I'm using here. Woohoo! Welcome, BRB. How you doing today? Hey, Sid. Good deal. Work just started for me, obviously. But I don't mind because I love my job. I really do. I tell you what, I look forward to Monday morning over the weekend. That's that's how much I love what I'm doing. To be completely honest with you, whenever the weekend comes up, I'm like, oh man, it's ridiculous. But I'm not complaining. I'm really not complaining. Hey, game room, welcome. All right. So I need to get this out of here. Um, Today I'm kind of thinking. Uh, I'm kind of wanting to just do a bunch of tiny stuff, a bunch of smaller stuff, but basically do a lot, hopefully. Absolutely, yeah. Hey, DJ Quad. I look forward to Friday when the week starts. I hear you. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. Hey, Ali, welcome. But yeah, I definitely said there's nothing better. It's amazing to do what you love. It really is. And I have you guys to thank for that. It's amazing. All right, so I guess let's actually start with prayer this time. I've been missing it so many times. Lord, I thank you for the privilege that you've given me to be able to do exactly what I want to be doing and uh, work on this stuff and just enjoy being able to work in with games um, and just enjoy the community and working with the community and being productive, Lord. Thank you for all the uh, all the knowledge and skills you've gifted with me with to be able to do this stuff um, and I pray that you help me continue to do that today. Bless our conversations, keep us on track, uh, and help us be productive. In your name we pray. Amen. All right. So, well, that's cool, BRB. That's awesome. That's really great. Then you're on the right track, for sure. Because I mean, before I was doing this stuff, I enjoyed my job too. I was just doing development, of course, but I was doing development for other people and building things that I didn't mind. I enjoyed doing it, but it certainly wasn't my ideal job. And now I feel like I found my ideal job, so I can't go wrong now. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, overall, my entire career has been amazing because yeah, I found a topic that I enjoyed doing. So, and eventually, hopefully, you can end up doing it yourself or doing exactly what you want to be doing. So, hey, Viewbot, welcome. DAW76, welcome. What's up in the LaunchBox community today, fellas? So, um, obviously you can see my list in front of me if you guys can read it. I'm thinking of just doing a bunch of little tiny stuff today. I'm thinking about animated GIFs. I know uh, that's been requested quite a bit recently, specifically because I'm sorry I can't remember the name of. We've got a theme builder on the forums who's doing really awesome stuff and wants to have animated GIFs, and I can't remember his forum tag unfortunately, but. Then I want to add an option to hide screenshots. I've got a glitch where certain file names strangely aren't importing. Um, we want to add more flexibility to the frames per second option because I learned that if you have a 75 frames per second monitor, it makes it not very smooth because it's 60 versus 75 conflicting. Shutdown confirmation, that kind of thing. I want to go through all these little tiny requests that are piling up. And a lot of them are pretty useful. So figured we'd do the tiny stuff today that is useful and hopefully won't take a ton of time to get done. BRB. First I was working in logistics, which is boring, then realized boring as hell. Sorry. Then they realized the talents I have working with PCs. Now they moved me to the IT department. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously I enjoy IT. That's cool. All right, so let's see. What do we do first here? Anybody want to put in a vote as far as what we do first, or should I just jump in and start working on stuff? I'll give you guys 10, 15 seconds while I drink my coffee. And yeah, what do you guys want me to do first? BRB? Anything on the list here you guys want me to tackle right away? GIF. All right, sure. Let's do it. That's probably not going to be the fastest thing in the world, but hopefully it can be relatively quick. I need to. I looked up how to do it, and there was actually I bookmarked something, I think. Let's see if I can pull that back up. Sorry, I'm doing this on my other monitor because I don't want to share all my bookmarks with you guys necessarily. Yeah, boo. I can't find it. All right, fine. WPF GIF. I'll recognize it when I see it here. I think it was this GitHub project here. This is the this WPF animated GIF project. So I wanted to check this out and see if we get this implemented. It should be relatively easy, in theory. Viewbot comments. You mean on the games database? uh, so all you got to do is just put this stuff on an image and then boom, you have an animated GIF supposedly. So this is perfect if it works. Yeah, it is on the list. Unfortunately though, that's we could tackle that today. Don't get me wrong, but that's not going to be quick. That's not one of the quick ones. That's why it's a little bit farther down. But if that's a unanimous decision, we'll definitely do that. Quick question from Game Room before you start. With LaunchBox being coded in C#, which is not as fast as apps created in C++, how well do you think it would run an Intel quad-core 1.83 gigahertz running Windows 10? It'll run fine. Keep in mind that, yes, it's still technically true that C++ apps are faster than C#, but even that these days is arguable for many, many reasons. There's a lot more optimizations that typically go into the C# stuff than typical C++ stuff these days. And even Microsoft themselves are building large parts of Windows in C#. So the gap is closing very, very quickly between C# and C++. And Microsoft's recommended way of building new apps these days is not C++, it's C#. So although so many people will argue that C++ is faster, and it often is, it's not always faster. And the amount of effort that it takes to put in a C++ app, to build a C++ app versus a C# app, usually makes that little tiny percentage of performance improvement not worth it, to be honest with you. So, granted, I'm certainly biased, but that's kind of the gist of that. But yeah, there's no issues with running it on running LaunchBox on or BigBox on lower end hardware. The only thing is, like, if you have a huge collection, that's when LaunchBox starts to get a little bit slower on older hardware. But anyways, you know, it's all, and we're always working on performance too. So I don't see any issues with running LaunchBox on that CPU. Although I'm not very familiar with that CPU. Welcome. I can't say your name, man. I just can't say your name. Sometimes I wish you guys could talk. All right. So the license on this code is the Apache license. Who knows about the Apache license? What's the gist of this? Apache license summary. That works. This is 2.0. Yeah, explained in plain English. Alright. You can do what you like with the software as long as you include the required notices. This permissive license contains a patent license for the contributors of the code. So commercial use is allowed, modifications allowed, distributions allowed, sublicensing, private use patent claims, place warranty, cannot hold them liable, cannot use their trademark, no problem. Must include the copyright, must include the license, must state changes, stating significant changes made to the software. Okay, well, I'm not going to make any changes to the software. Include notice. All right. So including this software means I'm going to have to put in a copyright and all that crap. But other than that, it's fine for me to include it. It just means I'm going to have to I think I'm going to have to include license somehow or other. Which is actually kind of annoying because we don't do that right now. Well, we do it with DOSBox. We just add it in the DOSBox folder. So, just trying to decide if this is something we should implement or not based on that license. The license is fine. It's just that I'm going to have to create an About tab and all that stuff for it, likely. This is going to take time. This is not something we're going to want to do ourselves, though. Likely. So it's probably unavoidable. I don't blame him. Well, let's get it and see how well it works here for us. There's a demo app and everything, so let's go for it. Ah, it's new hardware. It's the most recent Atom chip. I see. Okay. Yeah, if you bought I/O performance is a bottleneck. Although CPU matters, it does matter quite a bit. The you know, anytime you switch a view in LaunchBox, the performance as far as how long it takes to load up a new view, search or filter, that's all CPU intensive. That's not usually disk intensive. What's disk intensive is loading up the images, of course. So BRB. I know you can talk, I just can't hear you. Hey Pac-Man, welcome. We've been popping those releases out pretty quick, BRB. I'm hoping to keep that up. Actually, I want to do a new release here soon. Although I got to get the new there's a new Italian translation I got to get worked in there, and then also I got to get a Dutch translation package out. So I can't pop these out too fast because as far as the official releases, because these translators, these awesome guys I got translating for me are gonna kill me if I keep if I keep pushing them to translate constantly. The Atom chip will handle LaunchBox depending on your RAM. Yeah, RAM is important with LaunchBox itself. Big Box is better actually with RAM than LaunchBox is, I think. But that looks awesome. Video card is important for Big Box if that's something you're interested in. Um, you need a decent video card in order to do all the fancy graphics. Oh, you've only got 2 gigs of RAM in there, which isn't going to be enough. I'll tell you that straight up. You're going to want more than 2 gigs of RAM or you're screwed. You can't run LaunchBox well on 2 gigs of RAM. Unfortunately. Doesn't say what the video is. Yeah, that'd be cool though. I'd like to know how well that works. Hey, Emmy, welcome. Goodness. Well, glad you're here. Good to see you. I've seen you around. I've been responding to you here and there, so it's good to have you on the stream, Emmy. All right. So we got this downloaded. Let's pull that up, take a look at it. Extract this guy. Okay, so here's our code. Let's pull up the solution, see what we get. That sounds awesome, DOS. All right. First question is, does it build? Will it blend? There you go. Builds. Good. And then we'll set this as the startup project and try out their demo and see what we get here. Okay. Working. Yeah. Cool enough. Nice. I'd call that a win. All right, let's do it. Works for me. That's great, Emmy. Cool. I'm glad you could join us today. All right. So, yes, it does. Indeed, it does. So, I think what I'm going to do. Wow, there's actually quite a bit in here. I'd rather compile it into the code, though, which should be um, legal based on that Apache license. So, I'm just going to move the code into Big Box, I think. You just have to add the copyright information and the license information. So that's what we'll do. And this, one thing though, I mean, what are these? Controls? Image animation controller, animation cache, image behavior. Where to put it is the question. I'm going to put it in controls even though it's not really a control. We're going to add a new folder in here called WPF animated GIF. And I'm just going to drag everything in there. Then we have this decoding folder. Include all this stuff in the project. Oops, that was the wrong button. There it is, include in project. Alright, so now we have all their code. Who knows if I've got all the references we need though. What references are they using over here? Nothing! That's great. So in theory we should build. Alright, it builds. So do I go through the trudge work to do the licensing stuff now or later? License. I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to link to the Apache 2.0 license and call and hope that that's legal. Hope that that works. Because that's what I've been doing for everything else and nobody's complained. I just don't want to stick another license file in the root or anything like that, and I don't know where to put it. So that's the trick. This day and age, you know, if you put it in about with a link, it should be fine. But I don't know. Who knows? So how quickly can I modify this about dialog to say we're using this? But before I do that, really I should make sure it works, I guess. And if we take a look at their example, so where can we test it? I guess first off in we do need to test it in the themed views, which is the stuff that people can change. That's where it's most important. I'm just going to do something crazy right now. Let's put it in the keyboard view, whatever. And Supposedly, I can just do image. They add this guy up here. Which is interesting. Image GIF, image behavior dot animated source equals, and I just need to, for now, put a static path. I need to download a GIF from somewhere. Let's put it in the root of my D drive to make this easy. And like that. I think that'll do it. I hope. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but we shall see. It doesn't accept that, though, so I'm curious. Let me load up this other project and take a look at how it does it in the example. Where's the image? There it is. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Hmm. I don't know. Let's build it and see what happens. Doesn't seem like it's going to work, but I guess I haven't built it either, so it builds. What the heck? See how it works. I'm streaming, guys. I'm sorry, Eva. You gotta let me stream. We have that video issue on my second monitor. Stupid. I just need to pull up the keyboard is all. So, what did I bind that to? I don't even know. That's okay. We can do it this way. Okay. Cannot set unknown member. Yeah. So it doesn't recognize that, and I don't know why. It doesn't recognize what this is, so I'm missing something, somehow or other. I think it might just be because of a namespace issue. It doesn't make any sense why this would make it work anyways. If we take a look at the control itself, this image behavior is what it's trying to access, and the namespace is WPF animated GIF, which doesn't exist in the default namespace. I suppose I could try changing the namespaces on this stuff to something different, but somehow or other it should be working. I don't understand how they make it work here. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because they don't reference, although this is in the WPF animated GIF namespace already. Odd. Well, anyways, when they load this up, Let's go back over here. It uses this GIF. So what if we did this? Actually, let's pull up. I want an example because I don't remember how to do this. So platform wheel. We do this guy right here. So I think we need something like that. I hope. I'm going to ignore what they did, this weird web path. I don't understand how that's supposed to even work. But the namespace is going to be WPF animated GIF, right? I think. Yep, WPF animated GIF. Assembly's big box. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Build it. See what happens. Start her up. GIF is an undeclared prefix. Did I not? I must not have declared GIF. Okay. By the way, yeah. If I switch out to VLC, at least the videos will work on my secondary monitor. Stupid Windows Media Player. In theory. Although OBS, it's not Windows Media Player's fault. It's actually OBS's fault, which is my streaming software. Anyways, GIF. So yeah, I labeled this transitions like a dummy, and it needs to be GIF, in theory. Hey, look at that. Alright, that looks like it's going to do it for us. Alright. Give it a run. Alright. You see that GIF back there? Barely. It's working. Yay! Let's bring it to the forefront a little bit and make it a little bigger so that we can confirm that it's working. But yes, it is working. Awesome. I don't need this project open anymore. Let's close that out. And I'm going to move this down to the bottom to tell it that it should be on top of everything. Obviously, this is not. We're not going to keep this. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what is it? Grid dot column span equals 5. Grid dot row span equals 5. There it is. There's our kitty. Let's build it. So then, for when people are building custom themes, literally all they're going to have to do is add this line up here, and then like this line down here, and they'll have GIF support. Basically, is the intent. The build worked. Let's give it a run. There's our GIF. Seems to work just fine. That was as it is, as it's intended, believe it or not. Good. Beautiful. Kitty power. We're good to go there. Not bad. Well, actually, I need to obviously modify the about dialog to include that information. Um, and then we do need somehow to share with the community that they can now do this. So we kind of need an example or something. I don't know where to put it though. Obviously, the default stuff we're not going to be using any Gifs, so I'm not sure on that. But I guess for now, I'll put it in the WPF tips and tricks forum post or something like that. Yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be cool for sure, Sid. All right, where are we at in comments? Game Room. I installed Visual Studio Community. Seems to be running fine with my Visual C++ 2010. Not caused any issues at all. Mostly installed it for the example editing anyway. Sure. Sure. I think the issue... so Visual Studio Community is a new thing. I need to look into that. So tomorrow, my goal tomorrow is to do a tutorial video on the new theming engine stuff. So that's kind of my... I'm going to take a break from development tomorrow to hit up that tutorial. And I need to try Visual Studio Community instead of the Express Edition stuff. The trick is you're running C++ 2010. I'm not sure if I can install Visual Studio Community on top of my, what is it, 2015? I don't even know. I don't remember. Yeah, Visual Studio Enterprise 2015. I don't know if I can install both or not. So that's one thing that's going to be tricky. Anyways, welcome EA. That sounds awesome, Game Room. The more people we get working on themes, the better. All right, so let's get rid of this guy. I'm gonna copy those lines though, because I'm gonna use them in the forum post. And this guy. All right. Then the about dialog. Forums about. I can foresee my local database growing in size when GIF is implemented. And we're in German. Uber LaunchBox. Let's change the language back to English. Just hit reset. All right. And then under controls, I can just modify this. I'm going to say, did I lose my tab? There it is. Big Box uses the WPF animated GIF library. It's not owned by anybody. It doesn't say who it's owned by. Let's take a look at the issues. GDI handle leak. Uh-oh. That's not what I want to see. Oh, but I can change it. This is the kind of thing that is gonna uh, end up crashing the app eventually because there's a leak. So it'll decrease the stability of Big Box ultimately, which is definitely not what we want. So this is worth looking into and doing what he says here, because he obviously knows what he's talking about, and we don't want to deal with program crashes because of memory leaks or GDI leaks, whatever. It's a similar thing to what we were dealing with the VLC implementation recently. So I better go through that. Let's go back here, which is licensed under the Apache license 2.0. And then they said that I should do the copyright, but I don't even know what the copyright is in this regard, because it doesn't have a copyright listed. And if you go under the license, you see this? Oh, you guys can't see this. If you go in, if you click on the license.txt file for this WPF animated GIF, it says copyright nobody, nobody. So why put the license on there? Grrr, which probably means they don't care much, but I still have to put this in there. But I can't. So legally, I'm required to put a copyright on this license per the license itself. But when they don't put who it's copyrighted to, how am I supposed to put a copyright thing in there to note it? I can't. So stupid. Whatever. I'm not gonna get sued over something like that. I would hope. So I think that's all I need. I should link the Apache license 2.0. The links are such a pain in the rear for the different translations. But whatever. I think we'll come back to that. So I think we're good there. Let's go ahead and pull up the forum post and publish this in there. I'm going to build this though, make sure it builds. So let me pull up the forums. And under Big Box Custom Themes, XAML Tips and Tricks. Alright. Guess I got some people I need to respond to here as well. Hey y'all, I'm putting out a tutorial, hoping, just in case, hoping to put out a tutorial tomorrow to wrap everything up. The latest betas include project files to open up the themes in Visual Studio and allow you to visually change them. I'm in the live development stream right now, and we just added GIF support. You can add GIFs, animated GIFs, to Big Box now, like this. Big Box now, or you will be able to after putting out, or after this new beta goes out later today. Just put this in the it's user control, yeah, in the header user control tag. And then wherever you want to use a GIF, create a new image tag and add this property to, and add a property to it like this. We're using the XAML animated GIF library here. You can see their documentation for more details on more things you can do. Alright. Sorry you guys had to wait for me to type all that up. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to forget it, because I will. And I want to notify the guy that keeps requesting this. Pretty sure it's in this thread. Not sure. No, I don't want that. What am I doing? Slash Guns. There he is. Slash Guns 04 is who I want to notify. So let's Slash Guns 04, see the above. There we go. All right. Now, oh great, I put it on a new page. Well, that figures. Thank you, Doss. Sorry, I missed that. I should have been keeping up. What are you guys saying? Hey, Grandpa, welcome. We just added animated GIF support to Big Box, and we're gonna do a bunch more stuff. Game Room, as far as I can tell, Visual Studio Community 2015 is the same as Express, except it's for a single user dev or students. The main issue is the lack of information on the web page for it, unless I missed something while I was on the web page. Actually, didn't you install it in your VM? I think I installed the Express edition Game Room in my VM. DOS, where can we get GIFs? Can we use relative paths for the GIF? Yes, in theory. That should work just fine. If not, that's really stupid. Although, maybe I should test that. But I'm not going to waste any more time on the GIF stuff. Let's move on from the GIF stuff and do something else. But yes, relative paths should work just the same way that they work for the other images. If they don't, it'll be nuts. But let's hope they do. Because I don't feel like going back and spending more time on the animated GIFs. Alright, so we're good there. What else? What's next? I want the changelog resources. That's big box. We need the LaunchBox changelog right here. Improvement. Animated GIFs are now supported in custom themes / views in big box. Get out of here. There we go. Now we'll close that out. We've done that. What's next? Let's see. Doing this 75 hertz frames per second thing would be really easy, so I think I'm going to take care of that real quick. Because what I learned is if you have a 75 hertz or kilohertz, whatever it is, monitor, big box doesn't look as good as it should. Most people are working with, flat screens, 60 hertz, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. Should be really easy. We're just going to go into data. I think it's under options pages. Search for 60. There it is. We have frame rates here. In theory, 15 is already here, so you should be able to, it should already work for 15 if you select 15 there. So really all I'm going to do is say items.add. What happened? There it is. Items.add 75. And to be honest, I don't know how all this stuff works, but apparently 60 frames per second is the same thing as 60 hertz. So it's literally just refreshing the screen 60 times per second. And we are going to have to add a new string value here. It's in the general options. You can just go into Big Box General and change the frame rate. And that'll set it to 15 frames per second. And are there any other values? Let's look this up. So, monitor refresh rates. I know there's 120 hertz. It's not kilohertz, it's literally hertz. Which makes sense. Common refresh rates. I don't know. There's 240, there's 120. But the thing is, if you've got a 240 refresh rate monitor, that's already, it's 60 times 4. If you've got a 120 refresh rate monitor, it's 60 times 2. So for those, if you set it, if you leave it at the default, set it to 60, it should do just fine. Granted, we could provide options to do 120 frames per second, but it's just you're just gonna bog down the I don't know, why not? Items.add 120 strings.value frame rate 120, and we'll just put something on there like you're insane. So let's pull up value frame rate 60. This is under properties, strings. We have value frame rate 60. So we have very slow, slow, optimal. I'm going to do 75 specific for 75 hertz monitors. And then 120, you're insane. Value 75, what is it? Value frame rate 75. And then value frame rate 120. There it is. So it should be that simple. We'll go ahead and rebuild it. But I'll show you where you switch it here. Also, there's also 144. Well, if there is, then that's important to add, because that's not going to be a simple items.add 144 strings.value frame rate 144. Value frame rate 144 specific for 144 hertz monitors. All right. Really, what this prevents, if you match your monitors, most of you guys are gamers, so you know what this means. But when you match your monitors refresh rate to your frame rate, it's going to help prevent things like tearing and make the animation smoother. Ultimately, is what the point of this is. And there's other things like vertical sync and stuff like that, which VSync, which is going to help prevent tearing and stuff. But VSync can't really behave properly unless you match your frame rate. At least that's my understanding of it. Probably pretty rudimentary. Let's go ahead and load up Big Box. Did I build after I added that stuff? I can't even remember. There we go. So I gotta unlock this here first, and then under options general, we have the frame rate here. 75 specific for 75 hertz monitors. 120, you're insane. Hey, dummy, I forgot the 144. All right. Well, I better not leave it there. Leave it at 60 for now. And exit. Go back to my strings. Value frame rate. 144. There we go. 50, 100, and 200. Ah! Darn it. All right. Well, I guess we can add all those. So what we'll do, I guess, is put very slow, slow, optimal, the first three, and then we'll add all these other specifics after that, I guess. Pain in the rear. All right. So 50, 30, 60, 75. We'll put 50 next. Items.add 50. Strings.value frame rate 50. 100 and 200. Items.add 100. Strings.value frame rate 100. Items.add 200. Strings.value frame rate 200. And I'll get rid of the you're insane, and we'll just make them all the specific for to try and simplify this a little. So we have value frame rate. I'm going to change this to specific for 120 hertz monitors. Okay. And then I want to copy that. Value 50. So we have 50, 100, and 200 we need to add. Value frame rate 50. Value frame rate 100. Value frame rate 200. Specific for 50 hertz monitors. 100 specific for 100 hertz monitors. And 200, which we probably don't need because we already have 100, but whatever. There. Yeah. That'll do it in theory. 72. Gah! Alright guys, this is the last time I'm going to add one. I should look up an exhaustive list, but I didn't find one that easy, that quickly. Last one. Holy. I'm sure it does. But one of the 100 thing will work just fine for you. Or the 200 thing for that matter. Value frame rate 72. 72. All right. Yeah. Welcome, David. Sure. Okay. Big box. Options, general, 60, 72, 75, 100, 120, 144, 200. That'll do. Well, it's confusing though that 50 is before 60. But whatever. It doesn't obey the custom order I did. It just puts them in alphabetical order, I guess. Good enough. Just out of curiosity, let's try something. Let's put it all the way up to 200 and see what happens. See if it crashes. I'm not sure, honestly. Does that require a restart? Is that what it says? Yeah, that's what I thought. We'll see if it even loads. Well, it works. My monitor isn't even 200 hertz, so it's useless, but in my situation. Let's go back and switch it back to 60. There it is. And it switched back to Windows Media Player on me. It must be competing Dropbox files or something. Or did it? I don't even know. Where am I at? Videos. Yeah. How'd that happen? I don't know. Alright. So that's done. And in my change log, improvement, the big box frame rate option has been extended to support many more possible frame rates to match various monitor refresh rates. Hey Shades, welcome. Surprised the monitor didn't say. Well, remember though, Game Room, we're not changing the monitor's refresh rate. We're only changing the frame rate. So if we were dealing with refresh rate, we would be changing resolutions and stuff like that. But that's not what we're doing. We're just changing the frame rate. So it's only going to affect like how smooth things are and stuff like that. We're not quite going that hardware low level. All right. So what was the fix to get Big Box to launch on my second non-primary monitor? So I still have that on my list for secondary monitor support, proper secondary monitor support. Well, basically, well, let me answer Grandpa here first. Right now, in order to start it up on your secondary monitor, you notice me, I'm doing that right here. And all I'm doing is you just got to double click on an icon on the secondary monitor in order to start it on the secondary monitor. I have a proper fix for that coming. I just need to actually let you choose which monitor it's going to be on. So that's coming, but I don't have that implemented yet, Grandpa. So the trick that you can use right now is just start it up from your secondary monitor. Like put an icon on the desktop on your secondary monitor, and it'll start on your secondary monitor. But I still have that on my plate to do. Samsung TV that's 240 hertz. EA, you can just select 120 or even 60 will work just fine for you there, because of course 60 divides evenly in 240. I won't be doing refresh rate because there's no reason for it. Basically, that's a resolution change, and all you do is you go into your Windows desktop settings, and you can change that there, and Big Box will just behave fine with whatever you've got. So there's no reason for us to control the resolution as far as I'm concerned. Windows will handle that for us. How can I hit a key command to make it move over? But I wasn't sure if there was a better. I know I can hit. Yeah, not yet, Grandpa. There will be, but as of right now, there's no way to do that. I have heard that it doesn't work for some people, but it's always worked for me. So I'm not sure why putting a shortcut on a secondary screen isn't working for some people, to be honest. I'm not sure. I don't know. But like I said, I have a proper solution coming eventually. Yeah. Sure, EA. Hey, Steve Void, welcome. Yeah, me too. I'm still learning too. The hertz number, not resolution. Yeah, but I know I said resolution, but the hertz is still it's adjustable in the same spot that you adjust resolution in Windows. Most likely, Windows is automatically setting your hertz to the uh, the optimal setting. So it should already be the way it should be for most situations. So we know I'm not going to be providing a way to change the actual refresh rate on monitors. Win shift left arrow. Really? I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. I'm curious now. I got to try that. That's cool, Grandpa. Thank you. I didn't even know you could do that. That's helpful. There it is. Jumping between monitors. Neat. That's cool. Learn something new every day. That's great. Okay. What's next? We have this glitch. Option to hide game screenshots. Screenshots are not centered. Shutdown confirmation. Vertical videos left aligned. That's going to be a pain in the rear. I don't know how to fix that. Fixed platform images always being saved as JPEGs. That's annoying. Then the translation stuff. Different image types for every platform. Are you guys interested in that one? That's kind of what I've wanted to work on. Different image types for every platform. And background music. What do you guys think? David, I could have remembered hearing some people in the forums using software called Display Fusion to get Big Box open on the second monitor. Yeah, that is correct. There are third-party applications that can help do that as well. Scrolling text and background music. Image types. Background music. Oh, so basically, the image types right now aren't specific to a certain platform. So I want to make it so that you can save what image type you use on a per platform basis. So like you load up, well, for example, and this is actually in both Big Box and LaunchBox. I'm not sure, Grandpa, to be honest. I haven't played with it. So anyways, so I'm on, for example, arcade. I can switch my image type to be screenshots, and leave it at that, and then be able to switch to Nintendo 64 and have it be, for example, boxes or 3D boxes. So the point of this is to be able to specify I want to keep N64 on 3D boxes and arcade on screenshots, for example, which right now doesn't work. So that's what I mean by the image types, and the same for Big Box. I'm not sure how quick that's going to be. It might not be that quick, honestly. It might take a little while. Can you fix the transparency issue on images? I don't know what you mean, EA. Can you explain? What transparency issue on images? The request on Bitbucket for what, Ali? Change file names? I'm not following. Image type per platform? Sure. I'm thinking we'll go ahead and stick with this. Not sure. I would still vote for background music. Sure. Yeah, that's something I want too. Um, it seems like a simple thing, but it's not going to be. And the reason why it's not going to be simple, background music, is that everywhere where we play a video or play music or any of that stuff, we have to alter all of them to see whether there's background music playing and then not play the audio. We also need stuff like volume levels and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of audio things I need to get back to here. Oh, rename the game files. Yeah, Ali, that's really not that hard to do, but it's very problematic for a lot of reasons. And so it's dangerous, largely because certain emulators require certain file names. I mean, yeah, it's something we can do, but it's a little scary to me. It's not going to be that difficult to do, um, but it's not. It's also not a priority, to be honest, because it's not something that is a common request. You guys mind if I eat? My wife just messaged me. She's got food for me. Unless it makes a copy of the original file. But then we've got copies all over the place, and that's just, I don't know. Thanks, Doss. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to go grab my food because I am kind of hungry. All right, sorry, guys. Thank you for. Let me grab some food here. I have pork sausage and eggs. Yum. All right. Go ahead, but you have to describe it in detail. Yeah, most of the images, for example, on clear logos, you can see lines where the transparency. Oh, sure. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Man, I've spent time on that and more time on that and more time on that, and I can't figure out how to fix it. So, yeah, we got to fix that. I agree. It drives me nuts, but unfortunately, it's not something that is going to be easy. I'm still struggling with it. I've tried to fix it like 3 times. It's something. Honestly, it's .NET's fault. They're doing something stupid in their rendering. So ultimately, it comes down to a .NET glitch, and how I can trick it to do it properly. I don't know. I've been trying to. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that yet. Pain in the rear. Yeah. I can see renaming the ROM files being useful for certain platforms, absolutely. But, anyways. Hey, Bomb. Um, yeah, we can do that. But actually, the best guide might be just watching this video after it's done. After I get it on YouTube. So, I don't know. But, so what did we decide? Are we going to do the different image types? I know we wanted to do background music. But, and background music is another thing I would like to do before October for the gaming convention for Retropalooza. Anyways, let's go ahead and do the image types. So the first thing we need to do is each platform needs an image type assigned. So our platform data object needs to have another property on it that's saved to the XML, public string image type get set, right? And then ultimately it's going to be in the main form for LaunchBox here first. When somebody let's load up the actual form. Change it to English. Hey King, welcome. So when you change the image type, right now, one thing that's tricky is we got to make sure we're actually viewing the platforms in the sidebar, because if we're not, then that's going to be useless. I may have to just use the default. Wow, we have this in 3 different spots. Interesting. All right. I guess that makes sense. This might be trickier than it seems, actually, because I'm thinking like refreshing the games control and all that stuff is going to be tricky. EA, I'd like to have a startup video for big box like Hyperspain. I can see people using it for cabinets and people who want to start a video. Yep. That is a request we have. I believe we have a ticket for that. I wouldn't say that's high priority, because it's not that commonly requested, and I don't know. Honestly, it seems silly to me because it just makes you wait on starting up big box. But we have had that request several times, so that will come definitely eventually, EA. Can I use in place of the image static banner, image banner, animated GIF? Yes. Yes, in theory. That should work fine. I think he meant be right back. Oh. Oh, maybe not. BRB. That's funny. Can be skipped by hitting the keyboard? Of course. Yeah. All right, so what are we going to do here? Basically, the first thing we need to figure out is if you're viewing platform images, or I mean the platforms list. So we have the sidebar control. This dot sidebar control. There should be a property on that. Selected filter type. There it is. Filter types.platform. All right. If this dot sidebar control dot selected filter type equals filter types dot platform, then we do one thing. Otherwise, we do what we previously did. Do we, whether the sidebar is visible or not, though, what do we do if the sidebar is invisible? I need to check something in LaunchBox here. So right now, we're filtered to only arcade. Let's do something smaller. Let's do only Nintendo Wii. And then if I hide my sidebar, it shows everything, I think. Yes. Okay. So basically, you're only going to be filtered by platform if the sidebar is visible, which is what I wanted to check. So if the sidebar isn't visible, so if sidebar visible and there we go. Then we want to filter. We want to basically save it for the particular platform. And then we can get the value. Oh, also though, if it's on all, that won't work, or none, that won't work. Okay. This dot sidebar control dot selected filter value. I need to go check some stuff here. What do we do about all right, sidebar all text. I see. What about none though? We're using the filter value is not equal to, oh wait a minute, when I set it, goodness sakes, pay attention. I return string.empty. if it's sidebar all text when I get it. Okay. And not, darn it, string dot is null or empty this dot sidebar control dot selected filter value. And then we have stuff like none and exists. I think they're the only two other options. Let me pull that up and check. So on the sidebar we have, yeah, all, none, and exists. And this dot sidebar control dot selected filter value is not equal to program dot data manager dot settings dot sidebar none text, and this dot sidebar control dot selected filter value is not equal to program dot data manager dot settings dot sidebar exists text. All right, then we know we're on a specific platform at this point. This is going to be the same. Either way. So I'm going to move this out of this if else. And this is the stuff that's going to change. Sid just tested a GIF as a platform banner. Big box shows the image, but it doesn't move. Really? Ah. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're trying to put a GIF in as the banner. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. We'd have to add custom logic. In other words, if you could make it work by modifying the custom themes, and all you have to do is change the property. But yeah, that's not gonna work automatically with the existing images, unfortunately, unless you change the theme to support it. But you should be able to change the theme to support it, in theory. Anyways. All right, so we need to set it on the platform. We need to save it to the platform ultimately. Now when I do this, I think I'm not saving it until right now. What I'm doing is I'm just not saving it until you exit, which makes sense. It works fine. But of course, doing it with every platform, we're going to have to change that up. And I lost my spot. All right, so set the games control image group. I need to pull up that property, see what we're doing there exactly. That's all we do, and then we call refresh. It's the refresh stuff that I'm worried about, because refresh is basically refreshing all the images, and that's not, I'm not sure if that's, I don't think that's what we want to do. Obviously, first thing we want to do is just program data manager platforms, and we get the well, I'm gonna just make this safe. If program.datamanager.platforms contains key, this sidebar control selected filter value, then program.datamanager.platforms this sidebar control selected filter value equals text, I think. Oh, no, what am I doing? Selected filter value dot image type equals text, in theory. So that saves it. And then I guess this image group equals text, and this games control image group equals text, and this games control refresh. But I'm not sure what that's doing. Oh, come on. Oh, that's all that does is repaint. So we might be in good shape here. I didn't realize that was the stock refresh method. Okay, duh. So in theory, well, we don't save. We need to save. So let's call saving the platform. But we should load it before we save it. We always have to load it before we save it, in case it's been changed on another machine by Dropbox or something. Reload if needed. And that should do it. And then when you switch platforms, when you select a new platform, we need to change it up depending on what that value is. So that's half of it. Hey, Bomb, hit me up on the forums and we can talk. If you can understand this, hit me up on the forums and we can talk that way after the stream. Isolac, welcome. Can I pass the ROM name onto the command line, or do I have to manually set it with the custom command line? Don't know what you're talking about, Isolac. The ROM name onto the command line. Are you talking about in emulator settings? Hey, Stifilus, welcome. Yeah, we're changing image types specific to platforms right now. David is correct. Bomarolo. All right, so now when you switch to a new platform with the sidebar, we also need to switch the image type as well. So I guess let's build this though and see how it works here first. All right, so just make sure we don't get any crashes. That seemed fine. And it's not, you notice the images, once they've been cached, they load up instantaneously, which is great. So it's not recaching anything, so that's good. So I think this is going to work great. We just need to add the code for wherever we switch in the sidebar. See if there's a sidebar control selected filter value changed right there. Populate games. So then let's see if this works to just put it right here. Oops. If now we're going to copy some code ultimately. Where were we at before? Yeah, get out of here. Thanks much. Where was I? I need to search for image type. Here we are. So this is what checks to make sure we're on platforms. Then we'll just back up. All right. So if the sidebar is visible, which it should be, but that's fine. Assuming we're on platforms and it's not all, none, or exists, then we're going to go ahead and do this. Otherwise, we'll ignore it. Yeah, shut up. Low memory detected. Somebody said this is because Visual Studio is 32-bit, which would make sense. So dumb. It's irritating. All right. I am eating pork sausage and eggs. Isolac. I'm trying to use the RetroArch record option, so I want to do something like this. Oh, I see. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not quite possible yet. Isolac. I'll have to add a parameter in there for the ROM name, because that's not in there right now. So if you would, go create a ticket for that on Bitbucket, and we can track that. Hey, K-Money, welcome. I love sausages and eggs. Eggs are one of my favorite foods. And they are very good for you. They really are. Alright, so here we are. Selected filter value changed. We just need to say, first off, if program.datamanager.platforms.contains key, this.sidebar control, that's selected filter value, and not string.isNull or empty. This nope, not that. Program.datamanager.platforms this dot sidebar control dot selected filter value dot image type. So if we have an existing value for this particular platform, we need to set the image type to that value. So we're going to say this dot image group equals, I should use variables for this stuff, but I'm not gonna. Equals that guy, and I'm also gonna say this dot games control dot image group equals that as well, and then this dot games control dot refresh. All right, in theory, that'll do it. I hope. We shall see. Eggs, yes. I could use some bodybuilding. The last time I worked out, like with weights, was college for me. And I tried hard, and nothing happened for months and months and months. And then what's funny is a couple years later, I just kind of grew a little bit because I matured. This is my freshman year of college, and I actually grew up a little bit and matured and got a little bit of something, but I'm still pretty skinny. It's funny though that no matter what I did, nothing worked when I was freshman in college. Hey Moose. All right. So we're on Wii, and the image type is 3D boxes. We switch to Nintendo 64, and we're still on 3D boxes because there's nothing there yet, I'm guessing. We'll switch Nintendo 64 to carts. And if we go back to Wii, we're on 3D boxes, guys. And we go back to Nintendo 64, and we're on carts. And we go to MS-DOS, and there's no carts. We're going to go to boxes. And we go back to Nintendo 64 and we're on carts. MS-DOS is boxes. Wii is 3D boxes. We are in business. Beautiful. Not too bad. PlayStation, the only thing it's doing right now is it's using the last setting if it doesn't exist. So if you haven't specified what to use for PlayStation, it's going to use the last one. I think that's fine though. Nothing wrong with that. So PlayStation lets use carts, which is CDs. Then Wii, GameCube, that's fine. GameCube though, just let GameCube declare logos for now. We haven't done anything for Nintendo Entertainment System yet. But yeah, beautiful. Working great. Okay. Oil up and hit the gym with me. Okay, Norm. Yes, 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 yes. So now every system can have their own image priority? No. Every system can have their own image group assigned. Could do this for platform views as well. That's what we just did, David. I'm confused. What do you mean? It won't work in Big Box yet, but that's what we're doing next. Hopefully. Anyways. I'm not sure how difficult it's going to be to do in Big Box. But that is what I have planned. The only here's one interesting thing. We don't update the drop down to have the right check. So I better do that. That's no big deal. That's easy. All right, so going to say string image type equals this. No. Okay, and then we do all that, and then I need to copy we need these right here. And then in Big Box, have N64 show banner and system video, and then SNES just system video. Each system has a different view. That's coming. That's what I plan to do eventually. But right now, we don't have that in there, of course. But this is different. So the image types will be assignable by themselves. That's awesome, BRB. I'm jealous there. Why do you want each system to have a different view? I think I can see the feasibility, I mean the reason for that, but yeah, I can see why that. I mean that's desirable for lots of reasons. Especially when people have custom themes and stuff, it's gonna make a lot more sense. Because certain platforms are better with certain types of views, because you have arcade versus console platforms that support different types of images and all kinds of stuff there. Cool. All right, so Big Box. So right now, we got to look. This only, well, it doesn't only apply to game views. It applies to the filters views as well. So, but let's start in the games views. We have a shortcut key that lets you switch between the different image types. So we got to figure out where that's happening. So main view model, on switch image type. Here we are. Right now we're just ultimately setting it in general. This is going to have to change so that we can figure out if we're on a platform or not. And then refreshing the game images. This is tricky, unfortunately. Bleh. It's also interesting because we're not saving it in Big Box right now. That's kind of a problem. We don't have anything anywhere really. All we do is call refresh game images. This is the only piece of logic in Big Box for this stuff. I did it one spot, which is nice, but we're going to have to really extend this in order to make this work. I was kind of afraid of that. It's not going to be an easy job. I'm just trying to visualize the best way to do this. Let's take a look at the refresh game images method. Update image. Oh, I see. Well, I expect this is being overridden for every single view. Refresh game images. Come on. Or it's not? What? Come on, really? There it is. So for the flow control, But I think, oh, give me a break. I better restart Visual Studio. Okay, back to our main view once this finishes loading. Main view model. On switch games, no, on switch image type. So basically, instead of doing, when we load the images, we got to change the logic when we load the images. But that's going to be in a different spot. I guess first things first, we have to figure out how do we determine if we're viewing platforms or not, first off. And then if you're on a game detail screen, do we, I don't know, man. So you go into the game details. So you open up a particular game. Listen, guys, I'm not sure what to do here. So, for example, you're on platforms. Okay, you load up your platforms list, and if you switch the image type in the platforms list, you're not on a particular platform. You're on all the platforms. You're on the entire list. You switch the image type in the platforms list. Should we switch it for just the platform or for all of them? Okay, then you go into a particular platform and you switch the image type in the platform and you're listing your games. Then it makes sense to switch it just for that platform. But then you go into the game details, which is another screen, and you switch it up there. Should we switch the entire platform? It's a lot more hairy in Big Box. Let me pull up Big Box so we can discuss it a little here. Alright, so we're on this screen. If I switch the image types up, I don't even remember what I bound that to. I'm going into options and then keyboard mappings. Switch image type is the 5 key. All right. So we go in here and we switch the images. Do I switch it for all of them, or do I switch it for just the selected platform? I'm thinking actually just the selected platform, just the one that you're on. And when you load up another one, it should be that. Okay, all right, yeah. I'm answering my own questions here. I just had to think through this stuff. And then when you're in the games list, it should, if you're in a platform, it should only affect that platform. Then the tricky thing though is if you oops, I have it to skip the. Give me a second while we play Betrayal of Krondor. Queet, yes. Then if you go into the game details though, which I don't even know what my key. I'm used to doing this on my arcade cabinet, of course, and I don't know what the keyboard mappings are when I'm not in front of my game cabinet. Game details is space. So if we go into, for example, Bioforge, go into the game details here, and we switch it up here, should I switch it up for the entire platform? It almost feels like I should only switch it up for that game, although we don't have game-specific image types right now, of course. That makes sense, Pac-Man. That it would use whatever you use in LaunchBox, but do we want people to be able to change them in Big Box? In theory, yeah, I think we should. Game room, that's coming, but that's different than this. This, as far as customs ammo layouts for each platform, yeah, we'll get there, but that's not what we're trying to tackle right now. Yeah, I agree. Jizatsu. Um, so, for starters, if we're on the filters views, so let's take a look at the particular filters views. If it's a platform filters view model base, all right. So var platform filters view model equals this dot active view model as platform filters view model base. So if platform filters view model is not equal to null, that means we're on the list of platforms and we're on a particular platform. So we need to be able to get what that platform is. I'm thinking we should move this stuff to the actual controls because it's going to change so much. Yeah, this is going to be complicated. Platform filters view model is not equal to null. Then we know we're on the platform filters view model. But we don't have the platform from the main view. So let's start here. Let's go into this and add a method called public void on switch image type And let's implement this custom for and then what we can just say is platform filters view model dot on switch image type. And for now, we're just going to try and do this one alone by itself for starters. I copy that. We need to figure out what the selected platform is. And we would get that. We have selected item. Why is that an image info? Oh, because it's cover flow? Yeah. Because it's always, the platform stuff is always cover flow right now. That's fine. No, but well, the text filters one is platforms too. Dang it. That supports platforms as well. So we're going to have to implement that there. Text filters view model. So really we should put this in filters view model base. Not just here. And we're just going to have to ignore it if we're not in a platform. Okay. So how do we tell whether we're listing platforms or not? We have filter type. Good. Alright, so this comes down to if this dot filter type is not equal to filter type dot platform, then we are going to do the old school logic. Well, let's just do if it is here first. Otherwise, now in the main view model, filters view model base, instead of calling refresh game images, I'm going to call on switch image type. And we're going to get rid of all this stuff. And then if we're on platform, instead of first of all we got to get the existing value. So string current image type equals this program. Well, what's the current platform name that we're dealing with first? We should have a property for that. Title, that's not what we want. We have selected filter. The problem is that doesn't always stay the same. So that means we're gonna have to do this over again for the various children, and I don't want to do that. Come on. Pain in the rear. Well, this is probably going to take up the rest of our time, guys. There we go. JK. I remember that now. Program. We gotta just getting the current platform name is going to be difficult to do. across all the different subclasses. Irritating. In this case, we don't even set the platform name anywhere in the case where it's a clear logo. So we're going to have to change that, I guess. I'm going to have to update all these to actually set the platform name. I guess what I can do is in Filters View Model Base, in theory I should be able to force an override. We say public abstract string platform title get and set, and then it has to be overridden by the children. Hey Vissy, welcome. Pac-Man, perhaps you could have another button assignment that would switch the image type in Big Box rather than adding an action into Game's detail view. We already have that, Pac-Man. I realize we already have a lot of buttons assignments already. Yeah, there's already an image type switch button. We already did it in LaunchBox. We're making it so that you can do platform-specific image types right now. String current. So we have this dot platform text. Is that what we called it? Platform title. All right. So what we can do now is if program dot data manager dot platforms dot contains key this dot platform title, and well, really what we need is string current image type equals and program dot data manager, and not string dot is null or empty. Program dot data manager dot platforms this dot platform title dot image type. Then let's simplify this a little. I'm tired of dealing with these long things. Let's say var platform equals let's first off, if not this, then I'm just forget it. There's no good way to do this. Otherwise, program.datamanager.bigbox settings. Oh, we have this separate, don't we? I guess that makes sense. That's fine. All right. So we finally have our current image type. And then we're going to need a method to get the next image type, ultimately. And we're going to convert this stuff. I think where should we put that? That's the question. Doesn't really matter that much, but whatever. Let's just put it in app. Public static string get next image type string image type. And then we're going to replace program.datamanager.bigboxsettings.gameImageType equals with image type equals. And then what did I just do? Okay, and then program.datamanager.bigboxsettings.gameImageType equals with return. There it is. And return null. That'll simplify that. So then what we can do is set program.datamanager.platforms this.platform title .image type equals app .get next image type current image type, right? And then we call this .refresh game images, which in itself is going to have to change. Otherwise, down here it's going to be program.datamanager.bigboxsettings.gameImageType equals app.getNextImageType program.datamanager.bigboxsettings.gameImageType. And we can get rid of this whole big spiel here. And then we call this .refresh game images. All right, progress, although we got a long ways to go yet. Visi, is it possible for sometime in the future for when you edit a ROM to maybe have a checkbox? So when you check the checkbox, it renames your ROM file name with the one in the database. Yeah, that's we just talked about that earlier. So for those ROMs like MAME that has to be a specific file name, you leave the box unchecked. Oh, I see. Yeah, so platform. Automatically, that's scary to me, but eventually maybe we can do that. I wouldn't say that's a high priority. It's the first time renaming ROMs came up this past week for the first time, really, as far as people requesting that. So I guess that makes sense in some situations. It's a little dangerous, so I'm a little, I don't know. It's not something I'm eager to implement, to be honest, but it's something that we can certainly do eventually. Yep. All right, so we got it saving and refreshing. We don't have it refreshing though, really. So when these images are loaded up, sure. So right now it's just changing the thumbnails, and in this view, the thumbnails are the only things that need Ah, I see. So we set it specifically on that particular item. Got it. Well, this is easy then, in theory, sort of, kind of, maybe. Um, let's feed over the image type since we already have that. I think. Yeah. Which we're going to say string new image type equals yeah, that's fine. Okay. Then up here, we're going to say string image type. And instead of loading it, I'm actually going to I'm going to make this private. Now, it's going to be a while before we can build. We got a bunch of stuff to correct, I think. Okay, we got a bunch of stuff does not implement the platform title. And then I guess that's it. They all don't implement platform title. I'm not sure we even do it here. Elapsed. Oh, so if we're on platform, we set the games, the boxes. We also just need to set the dot selected filter dot name. Sure. So this dot platform title equals this dot selected filter dot name. That'll make sure that that's actually populated in this one, and then we need to do that elsewhere as well. You know what though, I'm thinking maybe we should do that as soon as it's changed. So whenever we set the selected filter, just do it directly in here. It's not going to take any time to do that. I think. Okay, and then what inherits from this? We have platform filters view model base, which is using the let's add override platform title, and in here whenever we set the selected filter, oh, that's already being done in filters view model base. Interesting. Well, we're not setting the selected filter though, are we? Platform wheel filters view model base. This might actually be simpler than I thought. Yeah, there's nothing to these, of course. Wow, yeah, there's not a lot here. This is good. Definitely don't need to do anything with these four. This guy uses the same property stuff, I think. Yeah. And then filters view model base. I'm just going to change this to not be abstract. What about this one? I think we're good, actually. I hope. We shall see. Sure, of course. We don't need this. Not quite sure, but we will find out soon enough. Inaccessible refresh game images. Sure. The main... so we set the active view model. Anytime we change the active view model, image type. Interesting. Trying to remember why I did this. So I guess what I'm going to do is make this public. And then also, I mean, we just have to get the current image type ultimately, and then call the method. We're going to need some of this code. If we're on a platform, we get the current image type. We don't set the new image type. All we do is we call refresh game images with the current image type. Same thing down here. All right, here we go. Take it easy, Moose. Here we go. Let's see what happens. This is only for the filters view. We already have an exception over here. This is this is basically a threading exception. Or no, value cannot be null. Parameter name key. Ah, okay. I see. Well, that's an easy fix. This was in refresh game images. Yeah, is it though? Ultimately, it's in a dictionary. It's this, I'm guessing it's the contains key. And this dot platform title is not equal to null. And then something like that. Yep, I loaded it up on the wrong stupid screen. Ugh. Put it on the right screen here. So we're on the filters view. It doesn't seem to be obeying the stuff we had in LaunchBox right now. But we don't really do anything when we switch the view to change that either. But say we switch it up for we, it is working to switch it up. And you go to a different platform and it doesn't, yeah. I think we're missing ultimately something. When we switch the view, we need to switch it up there as well. I forgot about that. So that's next. So in other words, whenever we change the view and load up the new boxes, this is really it only applies to the boxes, the favorites and recent boxes for the filters views. Right here. We have to get the image type. So let's add a method. Let's add a private method called private string get current or get image type. Because we've already doing this in two different places. So let's once and for all I'm just going to return this. Otherwise, I'm going to return this. Okay. I'm going to leave that code the same. The method refresh game images up here, though. I'm just going to say this dot refresh game images this dot get image type. Change that up. And then back in my elapsed method here, all we got to do is, instead of doing this, we say this. Well, no, first, instead of doing it in the loops, I'm going to say string image type equals this dot get image type. And just plug it directly in there. In theory, that'll do it, I hope. We shall see. Wrong screen again. Come on. Okay. So we're on arcade. Switch up arcade. Screenshots. MS-DOS is on screenshots too. Huh. Yeah, it's not, obviously it's not working right yet. Alright, what am I doing wrong? Unless maybe it's just this view. That's possible. Let's go to... That's weird. That's one I have never seen before. Oh, that's when it's trying to save. Interesting. That's new. That's something I just added. In other words, I just messed something up. Is it going to come back to me? Nope. It's done. All right. Yeah, whatever. I'm on the wrong monitor, but give me a second, guys. I want to test. This text view ultimately. Doesn't look like this is working either, though. Wait. Perhaps it is. I am seeing different. We're getting closer. So the text view is sort of working. I am seeing different stuff between the items, but it's not working to switch them for some reason. So that's something I got to tackle next. We're getting there. New bugs every day. Yep. And I thought this thing was going to be quick. It was quick in LaunchBox. Big Box, not so much. All right, so in my for some reason it's not switching them. So on switch image type, I'm gonna move this over. And we'll start at Big Box over here on this monitor, so you guys can see Big Box. And I'm gonna attach to the process so we can debug it. And we're gonna press 5 to switch the image type. Platform title is MS-DOS. That's correct. Current image type. is boxes. That's correct. New image type is 3D boxes. And then we call refresh game images on 3D boxes. And we set the image groups to 3D boxes on all the children. That's correct. So why isn't that working? Interestingly, there must be an issue with my thumbnail game view model, actually. Huh. Game.getBigBox thumbnail file path. I'm guessing it's... No, we feed it the image group. Is it a caching issue, maybe? Not sure. Let's go and clear the entire cache. That's the issue. For some reason, it's not switching them out. I press to switch it, and then they just keep going back. I'm gonna check my cache folder. We are doing all the types, but for some reason it's not. So the cache is switching between the types, but for some reason the images aren't actually switching. When it's generating it. Maybe when it's generating the thumbs, maybe that's the issue. It probably is. So, thumbnail game view model, the image group, cache file path, app.create thumbnail, game. I'm guessing this is the issue. Yeah, you see this game image type thing here. So we're always using the setting in game image type when we generate those thumbnails. So instead of this, I'm going to hard code string, not hard code, but require image type to be fed into this. And we are going to replace program.datamanager.bigboxsettings.gameImageType with image type. Okay. Because we have the image group here, which should never be null. So we can say this.image group there. And I'm sure there's going to be, it's not going to build right now. This is also happening in Thumbnail Manager here, which is part of CoverFlow. In thumbnail generation. So this is going to have to know the, yeah, pain in the rear. This is going to have to know the image group somehow. And how am I going to know that? Huh. I'm not quite sure. Ultimately, something called get thumbnail is where the point of entry is for this class. So I guess string image type, we add to that, maybe. And we add a public string image type, unless image info has it. I don't think it does. Oh, we do have an image type on image info. Look at that. Huh. All right. So we don't need this. Good. In theory, what we can do is just say item.imageinfo.image-type. One other spot, and this is in box game view model. This is in the I'm not sure. No, this is okay. So this is the big boxes, horizontal boxes view, is where this is used. And how do I know what the image type is for this? Or we have image group right there. Bingo. Beautiful. This.image group. All right, in theory. Progress. See what happens. All right, so now if I press 5, they're changing. That's good. So arcade is set to screenshots. We go to MS-DOS. We're on boxes. That's good. That's screenshots. Let's leave those on clear logos for now. We go back up to arcade. We got screenshots. We go down to MS-DOS. We got clear logos. We go to Nintendo 64. We got boxes. Let's change those to 3D carts. We're working. It's finally working for this. Woohoo! Alright. NES is on screenshots. Switch it up to clear logos. Let's leave that on boxes. GameCube, let's make that 3D boxes. Yeah, it's working. Question is this going to work for the other views as well? I don't know. And why is it not working anymore too? It didn't work on PlayStation for some reason. To switch it up. I have a feeling I know why. Maybe because there's no favorites? No, because it's working here. Goodness sakes. Oh, we're closer. Alright. Let's check the other views and see if anything's working in these views. Does look like it is. Or no, it's not. It's always showing screenshots. So we're missing something for the other views yet to get back to. Except that PlayStation is showing boxes. Oh man. We got some interesting stuff going on, that's for sure. But we'll get it. Oh, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream though, guys, so I can curse my way through this on my own. But I'll get this done today. And tomorrow I'm going to be working on the video for building new themes visually in the visual editor and all that stuff. Hey, OPAC. So that is coming tomorrow. I'll take a break from development. Hopefully I'm gonna put a beta out before I'm done today. Hopefully with this feature working properly. And we'll go from there. Thanks, guys. Yep, just in time for the end of the stream, OPAC. Oh, the GIF stuff. When I get let me get this video up here first. Well, Bomarolo has trouble understanding me. Bomarolo, let me get this video up on YouTube, and then you can watch the beginning. It goes through how I did it to begin with. Alright guys, yep, take care. Have a good day. Take it easy. I'll be streaming again, of course, on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. PST. And we'll keep going with this stuff. Thanks again.